Welcome my dudes, we are playing the Necromancer today, and if you hadn't guessed it, we are Golemdad. At this point I was like, I just want to be like a hype man to the Golem, but then I realised Golemdad was possible, and was very pleased. So I wake up in my house, Golem free. I really think the voice actor for the Necromancer sounds like Liam Neeson, so he's a pleasure to play, just for the voice lines, not for the hit points or the skills. So let's talk about the Golem skills. There are 4 Golems in total in the game. The Clay Golem will get quite early on, at level 6. Life is actually pretty decent, but the damage there is single Raven quality. And then Blood Golems will come later on. Never really played it before, so interesting to see. Iron Golems later on. Thorns should be interesting. And then lastly, we've got the Fire Golem, which unfortunately is a level 30 skill, so it's going to take us some time before we get there. Now I start of course without the Golem skill, so we're going to have to try and find a way of getting experience without actually using a Golem. And I've set it to play a 6. I'm looking for 2 things here, an experience shrine and an attack shrine. And by attack shrine, ideally a poison shrine, as I showed in my Raven run, always possible. Diablo's invaded Sanctuary, right on time. So worth trying to get a mad lad built up to take him out. So at this point I'm trying to get as many troops together as possible. I've got the experience shrine, I'm legging it down. Again, trying to pull a decent group. Ideally not the Fallen, because the experience you get from them scales off quite quickly. These Gargantuans would be ideal. I'm just not sure at players 8 if they're going to get killed by a poison shrine or not. So slowly manned on my way down. I get 41 health of a maximum 45, so I'm not really going to be able to last for too long. I realise I've got attack instead of throw on my left hand, so the danger is I might accidentally throw a punch at someone. So I'll quickly change that, realise I can't select the shrine, and then have to like hope for finally a circle of death. And I am absolutely astonished at how good that is. So level 4 and a bit and a third. Unfortunately I need to be level 6, so we've got a while to go. So I'm trying this with an exploding shrine. It's really pretty poor. Forget it, kills the Fallen but doesn't really kill anything else. Fire shrine next. Better, but still not great. I think the poison damage, just because it deals so much damage over time, is the one to look for. So here that looks like another poison shrine I think I've got there, so get some dudes around it one more time. Bide our time. And actually, fantastic. And we've hit level 6, so let's get our first point into Clay Golem. But almost immediately, I wished I just carried on with the poison shrine tactic. Because he is, yeah, pretty... Well, look, as suns go, he's got a lot to grow, a lot of growing to do. He has very high life, and it scales very well, damage, and the AI is just ludicrous, and I'll hopefully highlight some of that mad AI for you. So he's very angry when people turn up when he's already fighting someone else, to the point where he'll just decide to attack them instead. Actually getting to attack specific targets, like we had in the Raven run I did, is just not going to be possible. So a lot of it's like positioning, AI manipulation, like, you look, he's hitting one there, okay that looks pretty good, at least he's hitting the same one. But actually, I think I realised at this point I've got players 8 still activated, so he's got no chance. He's getting absolutely smashed. So hit the stony field, back to players 1, get your boy, come on son. And it's possible. I mean, look, it's slow. It's very, very slow at this point. Clay Golem there. I mean, I think I'm looking at the skill thinking, what the hell am I supposed to do for the rest of this run? This is what I've got. I've got to believe. So look, I'm looking here for a wand. There are some pretty good ones. I see one for amplified damage there and think, actually, this is going to double my damage output when I get that. +2 to Clay Golem, that would be really nice. I then realise +3, perfect, and it's superior wand, that's ideal. But it's 37,000 and I've got nowhere close to that. So it's all about getting that first bank up. So I'll talk a little bit about amplified damage, which is going to be crucial. So physical resist -100s, effectively it doubles our damage in normal difficulty. The radius is very poor at level 1. The duration is 8 seconds at level 1, so any additional skills are going to make that much broader radius and much easier. So here my job is just shouting curses and hoping that my son can listen to what I'm asking him to do. And here against Rakanishi, it does take him down. So what am I worried about at this point? You can see here maybe struggling slightly, switching targets when he's finally got it down just because they move position. Certain enemies in this are just going to be an absolute nightmare to try and take out. Anything ranged, anything magic, yeah, against all golems. So I'm farming Rakanishi here, it's just some decent experience, and it's right by the waypoint. And Clay Golem, level 2. I don't think you noticed, or at least I didn't show the damage you get per level you put into Clay Golem. But it's a pretty much just one more damage per level. And not always 1, sometimes it's 0 to 1 extra damage. So here we are in the Den of Evil. Corpse Fire. Looks at my son funny and he does not like that. Respectable damage for the easiest dungeon of the game.
To earn the rogue's trust.
And let's have a quick... You can see here I farmed up a lot. I had some pretty good RNG with some wands and scepters and stuff, so... So here you go, +3 to Clay Golem. Let's do it. It's 36,500 and I am short. So it goes to the point where I have to sell, and nothing I've got is worth anything. My books, really just the ring, which is so annoying. She could just give it to me. There you go, we got it. Yeah, let's litter outside a shop. Not going back there. Clay Golem, you can see there 4 to 12 damage and 240 life. Comparative to my own here, like 90 life, he's real tank, like an effective tank. Unfortunately, I'm relying upon him for damage as well. So I'm trying out against some of the heroes here. Rakanishi goes down pretty easy. Here he is against the Moon Clan. And I mean, yeah, still pretty slow. I mean, having just come off done a Raven to Hell challenge, which had some extremely slow fights in, I am very disappointed. Because the normal difficulty of a Raven scaled quite quickly in normal. Normal was actually quite pleasurable, relative to Hell, certainly. But this is a challenge, so I'm relishing all experience I can, pumping Clay Golems many times as I can. Getting 5 to 13 damage now. So that's more like 10 to 26 with amplified damage, but still very poor. And the first preserved head. Again, we're looking for plus to Golem, really. Now that one did have +1 to bone armor, which is great, because that's another 20 life I could just put on my offhand. I'm looking here at some of the later curses we can get, but really aiming for Decrepify, which is a level 24, which does very similar thing to amplify damage, but also reduces the enemy's attack and slows them. Tree Head. Again, not a big boss pack here, so we can take them eventually. A lot of time checking my equipment, so I've got some time on my hands. Trying best to hype this guy out a bit.
I sense many spirits.
And I get to the cairn stones and realise, oh, I've forgotten to pick up the bloody diary. I end up just running it like this. Okay, we're going to go to the monastery and just do some sprinting instead, because I'm annoyed with myself. This is a very similar kind of sight you'll see with a Clay Golem, just stuck in a group. He is, in fairness, making progress. There are some deaths going on in there. He does love a good brawl, but it's very, very slow going. So I get quite impatient and end up running. A huge boss pack there blocking the door. Finally my son catches up. off this last fight and straight into the next one. Now this is the beginning of the really slow fights in the game. It's compelling viewing. I've sped this up as much as I can, but every time I kill one, another one joins in. It's absolutely bashed. And I'm just watching. Yeah, eventually we'll get it. But the problem is every time a new one turns up, he gets really cross and decides to fight them instead. And then the glorious scroll of Infus here. 1, 2, 3, 4 in order. Doesn't happen very often, that, but that is a real dream. OCD dream. So here I've decided to adopt well, if I tank one, then maybe he'll get through his pack quicker, but I don't have the defense stats in it really. Grab an old man from a gibbet and just try and get some experience, maybe some equipment. Griswold, oh gosh, it's just like 2 decrepit creatures just smashing it outside of a bar. And like all good bar fights, the first bit's exciting, and then everybody just wants it to end. I did this on Players 3. It's generally good experience to do the tower early game, not just for the runes that you can get at the end, but actually because the boss packs throughout. Clay Golem, without hesitation, I am putting points into Clay Golem. Finally we get to the end. I find here a wolf head, and I can't help but pick it up. +2 to Raven. That will be more than I ever found on any other in my Raven only playthrough. I'm not annoyed or bitter or anything. And here we are. Again. 2-fisting, his only move. When you've seen this about 200,000 times, God knows how many, maybe 1 million, and yeah. A little sick that they didn't put some variation in that particular attack. And there you go, a +3 to Raven. Unbelievable. Another level. Now, we're at the point now, level 12, Golem Mastery is unlocked. I think it's probably worth getting just to get that 1 point in. I've actually saved a few points here, you can see that I can't put any more into Golem. I'm just not high enough level. So I can now split the points between the Summon Mastery and Clay Golem. And what's interesting here is I've got a skill shrine, and with the +3 I've got now level 12 Golem, and I actually don't have the mana to summon it. These are just a few of the runes I was able to pick up. I do have enough for Stealth Rune Word, but they are actually quite high level, which I didn't realise. I'm looking for 2-socket armour, ideally in ring mail, that would be ideal, but 2-socket helm's worth picking up. I mean, if we don't find one, we can always make it. A lore, is it in that? Which one? I decide immediately just to put 2 topazes in there just to get the extra magic find. A lot of the magic find at this point isn't necessarily to find a really good unique, it's more just to find more magic items to sell so I can get more wands, because the wands are just so expensive. And leave him at the beginning and just run. I end up bumping into this big blue bastard, and I think it's worth getting my son in just to see how he fares. So speeding this up at this point for everyone's sanity. I am doing at this point 8 to 20 damage, so with amplified damage we're doing what, 16 to 40. It doesn't seem too bad, but it is still extremely slow, and he's not hitting every time. The resist amulet there, doesn't hurt. And this little area, which I love, the secret door. What's interesting is you can kind of see through at a certain angle for whatever reason. We're clearly having some kind of orgy in there, which we interrupt. And I run in here because I can't be bothered to fight through this and see what we can find. I thought the drops in here were slightly better, but I actually think it's just 3 normal chests. And an orgy, of course. So here we're pretty close to the next level. Bam. I've got 4 skill points to use here. It's unlikely I'll choose anything but Clay Golem. I'm slightly worried over level it to the point where I can't summon it. And it's very frustrating if he does get in a situation where he dies, because I need to make sure I've got max mana in order to be able to actually revive him. Yeah, 45 mana cost, 49 mana overall. Flame Spike, or Flame Spire, the Crawler's area. And then Night Slime, which I think is a pretty cool name for a hero dude. We get into a really big fight here in the local church. Onash and his mate comes along, and of course you don't get involved in the fight without getting taken out. At this point the damage feels okay. I mean, again, that kind of misshapen went down pretty easily. So look, we've got 2 socket armour, we've got the runes for stealth, but still we need to get to level 17 to use it, to get that, to be able to use that tower room. So I think, well, I'm not going to do that, just to see how we fare against my mother-in-law. So why at this point I'm opening the caskets, I don't know, because the only thing I'm going to get, other than a handful of gold, is more ghouls, and I realise this just isn't going to work out. So let's get back to town, let's reflect, find a 3-socket shield, which is actually pretty good for this point. I realise it's got better block chance than my resist all shield, so do a little bit more farming. Again, I like to be over leveled, especially when you're doing kind of like a bit of a mean build, but this was really tough to level, gotta say. Really thinking, well, if I got the blood golem, my life would change completely, but I'm foreshadowing it doesn't change. So back in, a little bit higher level now. See, I'm even checking down there to make sure no ghouls ghoul up on me. Oh, it looks like my mother-in-law's having a party, so let's crash it. I'm having to kind of pull the golem there, just using the entranceway back in. I've got the doorway here, which is actually quite useful. What's interesting is Golem really doesn't take that much damage against normal guys at all. He just could somehow sacrifice some of that. That would be cool actually, to have like a ratio of damage to health that you could slide every time you cast them. So slow, methodical clear. It's not like I can target, in particular, the shaman, which I want to be able to do. So I'm having to stand next to them to prevent them from doing anything other than kind of using their dagger attack, and then hope he catches up, or resummoning next to them, which is a very expensive way of having to do it. It's a busy set of rooms here. Sometimes you get quite lucky with the spawns. I mean, there's no great hero here. There is about to be unleashed. Not by me. Nice view of his bum there. The little things keep you going. And my mother-in-law turns up. We shout at her. I try and tank for a little bit, but man, the damage is actually very high, and she wrecks the golem. Yeah, that was my kind of concern. Oh, I found a decent magic find ring there, which is quite good time. I think it's only +8 magic find, but at this point that's really nice. So we just got to keep summoning. Again, very, very expensive to resummon, so I'm going to have to use a lot of mana just to get to full mana to then resummon. And finally, he goes down. And I'm really, the anticipation is high for no reason whatsoever. And the golem ends up dying. He's clearly at that point extremely drunk. That's a whole act's worth of bar fights. I'll go straight into the sewers and find some more. See how he fares against some of these burning dead. And I want to say pleasantly surprised, but maybe it's because I know what's coming. But I think maybe attack rating or something is not hitting every time. And we're close now to Blood Golem, which I think, because I see that extra damage, is going to be the saviour. So Radamant, there's no way I can target the guy down, but thankfully, for whatever reason, he does jump in there and start bashing away at him, but he's just not going to last long enough. Had to do the old classic of kind of kite. Finally, look, this takes a while just to clear. You get down to your man himself in this sex dungeon. And this is sped up, I think 5 times. Oof. Let's see what he wrote in his diary about me.
A waste of undead flesh.
So 2-socket breastplate here. Finally we can make stealth. Required level 17, which I'm not yet. A decent armor to put that in. Again, considering maybe going down the curse tree, but at this point I just really need to put as many points into getting that damage up. Considering 1 point into bone armor, I don't think it scales particularly well. That's only 15 per level. That first level's okay, especially since I've got it for free through my offhand. And then I even consider, well, could we look at some bone? But slowing enemies down just need more damage. And I'm not really going to get any more than the amplify damage. Really good waypoint here, the Halls of the Dead. And let's explore, see what we got. Well, we've got more slow fights. At this point, as you might be able to tell, I'm slightly losing the will, especially since I know anything we kill is going to get resurrected, so I'm just going to sprint through this. And actually it looks like we've got a completely trash route here. So I'll lose the will at this point, clearly. Well, what can I do? I'll try and get them all together in one group and then try and find a route through, which I find, and off we go. My sun at this point has expired. It's getting kicked in. And look at that, level 2. Level 3 actually comes pretty quickly after that. Feels like it might be worth trying to clear a little area here, especially since we've got a kind of hollow one, an unraveler there with a smaller pack. And then the final pack at the end. What I can see here is he is actually getting through these guys eventually. There's one that goes down there. We want him to switch his aggro to the hero, but you can see he's not taking any damage, which is so frustrating. And there I can see for a moment he turned his attention. For whatever reason, I think someone else joined in and he got distracted. But there we go. And a reward, the preserved head, which ended up being useless, of course. But another fantastic map here. And I'll be honest, not looking forward to this area. But surprise, surprise, actually pretty good. These death beetles have got quite low hit points, but of course they're so annoying, especially in big packs, because you smash through them and they produce all those charged bolts, which can really decimate a low-level character with no resists. But he's not taking any damage from any of that, and he is getting through them slowly. So this actually ended up being quite a decent area, although slow. Let's not pretend it was fast in any way. I spent a lot of time just philosophizing around golems in general and what I'm doing with my life. So here just reading like, how the hell am I going to crank any more damage out of this? But what I found is actually stopped bothering even doing amplified damage. I knew I could just sit and watch the television and let him do it. Every now and then I'd shout and be like, you can do it, son, but really I'm looking forward to his older brothers coming in. Fire Golem especially. That Holy Fire seems very low damage, I'll be honest. I don't know what the point in that is. Just a gimmick. Doomhead the Hammer here, I thought was an interesting hero. Of course, Death Beetles are lightning enchanted anyway, and this one is lightning enchanted, so I'm not quite sure how he managed to blag the hero form there. I thought this was quite cool, just some of the details of how they illuminate caverns and the internals and external tunnels. And finally, stealth. Can't say it's going to make a mega difference, but faster run walk is always welcome. Faster cast rate we can forget. There's a little bit of dex there and faster recovery. And some regenerate mana. And there's a poison resist, which for this act is actually really good. The magic damage reduction is, well, it's pretty nice actually. We've got some more socketed items maybe for later on. And then I save and exit. Now, as anyone will realise, I shouldn't have saved an exit because I just went down to town while I was in level 3. So I had to run all the way through. So thankfully I knew the route, and I also got another like half level or so of experience. But yeah, that's what happens when you try and like film stuff every now and then. It's very easy to get distracted with what you're doing, especially when you spend so long in your head wondering why you're doing this to yourself. Again, he looks like he's actually hitting cold worms, so this is brilliant news. I can wait for him to hit that, grab some equipment. Now what I thought was interesting, again, some of the things you learn as you do this, still so much about this game I don't know. The possessed heroes don't seem to be able to be cursed, which is really cool. That's a really cool feature. So there's the other heroes, I'm just proving they can be. Then our darling fire tower come to give us a fiery hug. Doesn't seem to take any damage from that as well, which I think is quite weird. I don't know if he's got some kind of innate damage reduction, the golem. But he should be taking some damage. And just some cool doodads here in the Claw Viper Temple. Just love some of the details they've added into some of this stuff. You can easily walk past. At level 2, always it's its safety portal. What am I doing? That's better. Coward's Northern Route, always safer. Busy, I've got to say, busy. It must be Black Friday. Finally get to the stairs, can't get through, have to run back around. I'm thinking, what am I going to do now? And the problem is when I'm in this position, they're kind of aggroed on me, a lot of that top group. Even if I walk around, I know some of them are just going to pathfind to me. So we take the hero southern route, and I'm not a hero. I'm not the hero this route deserves. I can see the stairs. I'm not going to get there. I'm getting bashed away. This is unbelievable.
Impossible.
Impossible, exactly. Damn, what am I going to do? Right, let's just get back out, rethink this. Get back in, so the golem's next to me now. Not ideal. Get back out. Okay, now we should be okay. So he's taking them out very slowly. I'm worried about the tethering there, because it looks like they want to come and attack me, and if they do, they absolutely wreck me. A nice level up. I've just got to find a way through. I jump in there. There's no room for me left. I'm going to have to get back through. We'll get back. Finally, I find a route through. Again, it's as blocked almost as it can be with just a few guards left. I get the golem to distract them. And up the stairs we go. I curse him, calling him long-armed bastard. And we get the amulet. And I'm very, very grateful to be free. So finally, we're at a level. We can unlock the blood golem. Clearly a game changer. A base 7 to 20 damage is going to be insane. There he is. And actually get a bit of blood on this roof there. So converts damage to life. So, I mean, look, hopefully that's going to compensate for the fact that he's got half the hit points of the clay golem, but we'll try him out.
You may enter when the time.
Now, I'm sure he's not the first bloody appendage seen wandering the halls of the Miranda. Normally I sprint through this because the map is so easy to get through, but I'm having uncharacteristically difficult time getting the golem through. I do save his life, but I've got to be honest, I'm quite disappointed. I don't want to have to keep resummoning the golem, even though the damage should be better, but his attack rate seems to be the same, so I just bring clay back. We've become so attached. So good spot for Fire Eye actually. It's worse when he's in the stream. They're actually too tall to get through that door, so here we can kind of take our time, but I'm no mood knowing what's coming up. The Arcane Sanctuary.
I wish I had time to study this bizarre dimension.
Just taking a look at the old graphics, I think this is one of the few areas that feels worse than the old graphics. There's something about that like old screensaver that makes it feel quite epic, and I think when they make it slightly more realistic with this kind of nebula in the background, I think it loses a lot. This kind of, I don't know, maybe like sci-fi mysticism part. Fortunately, the Arcane Sanctuary will never be a place I enjoy anymore, ever since I had to go through with ravens. But what's nice is in certain areas like these portals I can throw your boy over. So here's the first. We're hoping and praying. We're just taking a moment to admire the lightning spire and its death animation, which I've never done before.
Good day.
So we're looking here for something I maybe should have done. Unfortunately, when you get this map without the exit to loot Golem at the top, as in the top left rather than the top right of the map. This is the only way to kind of reset the elixirs. Elzix. His inventory. But there you go, 24% magic find. So that's kind of what I'm looking for. If I find the 20 to 25%, that's enough for me. So I continue to have a pretty dire time of it, and then find myself in this situation. So I managed to run up, just make a portal, get completely surrounded, and then I'm kind of back and forth in this loop. I have to make a bone shield back in. Thankfully, somehow I managed to. God knows where, maybe it was just the portal where it ended up, but I managed to escape. And a lot of what I had to do in this area was just run, hope for the best, then when I get trapped, just escape, because there's no damage really for me to break out of any situation. A lone Gorebelly makes actually a creature I might be able to defeat. Again, as soon as the others join in, his aggro gets taken to someone else. And I end up re-rolling to the point where we get some death beetles, which is fantastic because we already know we do well, and I can see here from the map I've explored pretty much the whole area. So I know the route, I've just got to get there. So we get into the next room, there's too much in there, I've got no patience for that whatsoever. And then of course there's a hero in the way. So I run, quickly make a portal, just get back to town, just chill out for a bit. Hopefully they lose some of the aggro, and then we can maybe clear out this without those heroes coming. I actually, because I'm so close to the next level, decide just to go back to the Canyon of the Magi. With this bippity bop, some more cats on the head. Just smack some endangered cats on the head. And I'm debating here, what should I do? So does it like Blood Golem gets another like, what, 3 to 11 damage? But it just doesn't last, and I know what Jiro's going to do, just absolutely sit on him. I'm still looking at the elaters thinking, oh, maybe things will change. So in the end, what can you do? I don't really want to put any more points into Clay Golem, because I know it's not going to be long-term viable. But I know that the Golem Mastery will help all of them in the end. I don't expect to use a lot of these thawing potions, but just out of habit it's always worth popping just for his Holy Freeze aura. Portal up, cursed, and then we just pray that we seem to be doing some damage. And the Golem, he's taking a lot of hits here, and he's slowed down by the aura. It doesn't last very long at all. We finally deems worthy to give his voice line. I can see we are actually doing some damage. A lot of damage? No. Some damage? Yep. But this took maybe, I think, 20 minutes or so. I'm pretty pleased when it's over. And we get Arcana's cat. Start a fight outside of the next town, just to see. Some Irishmen. And I mentioned this in my Raven run a lot. I like to use these guys as a kind of test to see how well we're going to do in Act 4. And it's not looking good. Because it's looking, let's be honest, very slow. I don't think ever I found normal so difficult. So 2 good drops there. First hero,
Perhaps I can
pack.
trade this for something better.
Unravel ahead, nothing really of any use there whatsoever. It's got a socket, you really need plus to skills on that. There's only a few skills I'm really looking for. I do a little bit of shopping for a teleport. I do actually find a teleport staff, but it's got so much else on there. I need almost 200k, 190k. And there's an enchant staff I find after a few rolls. I think actually that almost is going to be a requirement. So just theory crafting some of the ways I'm going to get through this. But Demon Limb, for instance, would be a good unique item to get later on because of the inherent plus to enchant. Now, I don't know if you can see my son in there, but he's getting hit so often. He's getting stun locked. So we have to do a quick sprint. Again, another Unravel ahead, but nothing we need there. +1 to Iron Maiden. And you can see some of the frustration. I mean, again, I'm trying to block his path there, and he runs away. I can't be bothered to block him. Let's just try and run through this. I'm getting pretty good at trying to run through areas without getting hit. I think, oh, is the flare, it's actually the swampy pit. I don't think that's, I think it's a dungeon I maybe done once in the 20 years I've been playing this or so. Or probably 25 now, wow. Finally we make it to the natives. I can see the Gidbin there. I just bash it. I don't know why, maybe I should have cleared a bit more. But at this point I know his health's good enough really, and as long as he's not taking fire damage. You can see there some inferno damage, does take some, but if we can get him to concentrate on the Gidbin owner, which he does eventually. You can see how much I've had to clear here though. Then I know he'll eventually take it down. Ormus, we hope and pray. Yeah, I don't know why. There is some fire resist on that. And then Dugu. And I'm really worried at this point because I can't get through the door and I don't seem to be doing enough damage to actually... But thankfully when I look back it looks like he is eventually taking damage. Just gotta make sure I get that curse in, get some good RNG. And rewarded by a gargoyle health, which is always nice. Let's have a look. +3 to terror. Yeah, that sums up the experience. Thrashers. Now look, we've seen these kind of thorn hogs already. Absolutely stun-lock the shit out of him. So I look at this and just think how much watching your son getting destroyed. Can you take? I just run away like all good dads would. Always worth just clicking on the sewers just to get an idea of the map. And we get a waypoint, which is good. I believe my son's in there somewhere. That's it, I'm going to level up. So I'm hoping at this point we're still not quite there for... I think, in fact, we're quite far away from iron golems. I don't know why I'm getting too excited. So, off camera I managed to kill one of the council, Ishmael, I think it was. A lot of this just took so long that sometimes I forgot to hit record. Which is, hopefully you can understand. And one of the things I'm definitely not doing in the next run is I'm going to do maybe like an extra magic find. And look, I even forget to pick up things in the sewers. Here's me just thinking, look, I just need more experience, so I'm just going to areas I can clear on maybe players 3. And I know these beetles are pretty good fodder. And it's Ismail again. I was like, well, I'll just prove that I can kill him. And he keeps healing, and he's with some of his friends. And it's not happening. And he's the golem's cursed, so he's actually taking some damage. So look, I know what I need to do, and look at this map, the sewers here. My raven run through on one of them. It was the very, very last area to check. So. And hopefully there's no one in here. But of course there's undead dolls. Now undead dolls are actually quite good, because as long as I'm not near them, they don't have huge health. So the mad lad can just push them out of the way. So just showing a few of the other areas. I mean, this is one of the higher level areas I can actually get to at this point. Just trying to find some heroes and very slowly whittle them down. And here in the ruined temple.
I can't carry it.
Of course, I run to grab that and realise I don't have the room. Let's get out, of course, some dirty magazines. I even for some reason go back and do Andario just because I thought, well, decent magic find, maybe I'll get something, but alas. And here we go, the part I was waiting for, Iron Golem. The damage, look, is poor, 7 to 19, but I know he takes on the properties of the item that he's generated from. So if you do that with any weapon, especially one with decent damage to it, then yeah, we'll be laughing. And I get one in Summon Resist, which is just a good, especially against Mephisto. We do have Decrepify there, but I don't have enough points to get that far up the tree. But I'm thinking at this point, because I don't really want to put any more points into Clay Golem, definitely not into Blood. But it might be worth just running up that side of the tree and getting Weaken and Terror. Terror ends up being pretty good actually, although I don't use it till a bit later. Here we are, let's try him out. I'm only doing this on Max now, really just to try it out. I'm still not sure how he's going to survive, because he's got half the health, of course, with Clay. remember to curse this time. Actually, looks like, even though he's only attacking one there, the others... I'm looking at this mauler now, you can see. So this is a pretty decent pack. I mean, he's getting stunned here a lot, getting a few hits off. Same kind of AI, so he just can't really decide who to attack. But the maulers seem to be just bashing themselves and really, really hurting themselves to the point of death. That Thorns is completely overpowered. Now, I am probably quite over-leveled for this part of the game anyway, in order to get this guy. But it seems like we've lucked out on the Thorns aspect rather than anything else. So here we are. Endurance level 3. Thankfully we've not got any council members right in their entrance there, because that can be a challenge. Slow progress against the Bloodlord. This is quite clearly sped up, as you can see. Now unfortunately you can see there, against the fire, he melts. And against Mephisto, yeah. I think because with a lot of these creatures that don't use melee, the Thorns just isn't really doing it. So I'm thinking, well, let's make it a piece of armour instead. And let's try again. Unfortunately, the damage Mephisto does is excessive. We do have that one point in summon resist, but I think even the melee attacks of Mephisto could three-shot. A lot of back and forth. I end up running out of items and having to rely on old clay again. And here we are in Act 4. So, I'm not quite sure why I'm showing this. I think at this point I'm just desperate for something that's not two-handed punching. We've got our iron golem up. I think I just found a random weapon on the ground, like a giant axe or something. And Izu out. He's thankfully on his own. Now I'm looking here and I find a +1 to Necromancer skill. So it looks like that's a mod that can finally drop. Now I've got +3 to Clay Golem. Do I want +1 to Necromancer skills and +1 to Clay Golem? I'm reluctant at this point to spend that much money. Ideally we want like a +3 to Iron Golem, +1 to Necromancer skills. That would be the dream. Finally, Decrepify. The Decrepify has a very, very small aura size, and it's an aura size that, or radius shall I say, that never grows with levels. But not only does it cast amplify damage, but it also slows creatures and it reduces the damage they do. And here's one of the many futile attempts to get through the River of Flame. There's a +1 Necromancer skill and +2 Iron Golem there. Fortunately that life tap as well is really pushing it, so I need 200k. So we go through the big sell-off. We've got to get it. All of this stuff, I mean, if I'm going to use it, am I going to use that? At this point I'm like, Ancient's Pledge, what's that going to do for my damage? Nothing. Sell it all, sell it all. 22, we're getting closer. I sell my charms. We're up to 106, we're going to have to sell all the gems as well. This is brutal stuff. An addict. Selling absolutely everything I've earned to this point. I still don't have enough. I've got one ring there. The runes are going to have to go. I really don't want to sell that Magic Find ring. The runes are worth almost nothing. 2 are worth 1,000, but that's still like 181 is not what we need. We need 215. We are just too far away.
What are you? An idiot sandwich.
Yeah, maybe I should have done some of that math before I sold every heirloom I've found on the way. An axe worth of endurance to get all those gems, and they're gone. Mephisto here, I mean it's a long fight, but it's one we can definitely win. If I cast Decrepify, he actually can't really get the golem down. But if I cast Amplify damage, he has the speed to be able to beat the golem down. I put my mouse just down there to see how much experience I got for that, and it was about 2.5%. An L rune. Well look, maybe the worst possible rune and the best possible gem, so I won't complain. Since I've sold all my gems as well. So River of Flame, get a level up, which is always welcome. Putting points into Iron Golem, and I put another point into Summon Resist, because I know what this is going to be like in terms of the mages. And here's us against some Undead Knights. I get very close to death there. The Oblivion Knights here are a real challenge. They cast a Decrepify as well, which really slows the attack speed down of the Iron Golem. Eventually I pin one in, and I'm thinking we can get it down. Come on, it's almost there, come on. No, not quite, come on. No, he's healing back again. Please. That was one. There's probably 20 to 30 in this area. Here's one. You can see he's getting pelted. In the end, I just run past a lot of these guys. You see there, I was being chased by a bone spirit. I'm just trying to get away. Oh, here he is. Now, anything melee here, these Doom Knights get absolutely destroyed. The Thorns Aura at this point is high enough, or the Thorns that he has naturally is really, really good. So even against these guys, the Stormcasters, because when they get into kind of laser range, they do technically classify as a melee attack. The only problem is the damage of all of them is enough to take him down. And neglectfully, I let him perish. So here I've got a lot of stuff. I don't really sell too much at this point. I'm just saving a lot of this stuff to make more Iron Golems. And just make sure I get that portal right next to me, so I do need to dip into town, it's immediate. Finally, the Grand Vizier. And I'm having to do like a bullet hell with all of these mages in the hopes they don't cast a Decrepify on the Golem. And once again, I almost died myself. Back again, surely at this point the Grand Vizier is going to go down. Dodging bone spirits. Finally get him down. I'm tempted to save an exit there, and it gets worse because I end up running past them, so I get hit almost automatically. I've only got 200 health. It just really isn't a lot. Necromancer shouldn't really be in this kind of melee. What I'm doing here is just trying to pull the Golem. I've got Lord Deceased in a really good location here. It's being pulled away from the other mages that are kind of up in that upper area. And unfortunately I can see some dudes down the bottom who want to get involved. And eventually we get him into this brilliant location up against the wall and just thumping him. I'm shouting at him really loudly and unpleasant stuff. And I realise I'm just not going to be able to do enough damage. I have a maul, however, and I'm thinking, actually, let's just test this out. I think it was just a blade before, so this should be, hopefully, a big damage increase. Again, I'll speed this up. You can see with the maul there, the damage output is significantly better, so it makes a big difference as to what I make it from. And I'm very, very thankful that that's done. Now running away as best I can here, because I know when Ventar is it pops up, he's going to cause some trouble. But it's going to be the second portal, so what can I do here? Hit it, run as fast as you can. And we make it. What a champ. And thankfully, my son pops over. So Venom Lords, when they're on their own, are fine. And on to Diablo himself. You can see already, I mean, the Iron Golem died very, very quickly. What I did is just drop a load of stuff so I can make Iron Golems whenever I need to. But he fortunately decides to move around quite a lot. We chuck it on the ground, organise a bit. You can see I've got 2 books there of Town Portal because Town Portal, I'm so worried about running out. They're very expensive golems. Summon the lightning, especially when I'm stuck behind. Here you can see get clips down to 21, that would have been a disaster. And when you do this fight for long enough, you get this pleasure. It's bone prisons. Thankfully the best way of getting out is just to recast the portal. It normally pops in a slightly different location. And have you ever seen that many bone prisons before. Well, probably not. The fight's never taken as long as that. But you can see how slowed down he is by the clay golem, which is welcome, and the curse.
I have bested you.
And there's me just looking at see anything here. Oh, well, actually the greaves are Cygons, which is good. And all the rest of this will go to Golem Manufacture. So Act 5, we're getting there. The muscly boys fighting on a ridge, and I pop in my dude as well. And actually I realised there, because I made it out of an ethereal item, that my golem actually takes on the ethereal appearance, which I think is very cool. Cool detail, and it is in the original. I'm so cross with these gremlins. I know Dagbrand is just like a trash, but something about the AI really annoyed me there. I decide here to, well, trial this using some of the very, very few gems I've got left, but the hopes to like spike the damage output. And then Eldritch, so this is great in terms of farming. We've got a melee only, super unique, right near a portal, so we can farm this guy. I've been looking forward to being able to farm him comparative to some of the other areas I've been stuck with. And actually not bad Unravel ahead in terms of like extra block chance, but he doesn't have plus skills, what's the point? Find a circlet and think, let's just imbue it for fun, and unfortunately it's +1 combat skills. Dual resist though, so could be useful. Maybe for an Iron Golem at one point. And now you can join me in what was the fun I had trying to get through this part. Please hit the door. The door of course is not hitting back, so I can't benefit from any thorns. There's a lot of aggro from other dudes. When the door goes, I sprint, re-portal. I'm going to keep that for a golem in the future. You see a very brief look at my inventory there, my stash tab, which I've been using for this run. Doing a bit more farming, see what I've been up against. Unfortunately when those crush beasts are, they come in and they get the gremlins on the back, then they cast Fireball and Inferno, and you can see the health of the golem absolutely melt. I mean, to the point where I have to save and exit there, but I do get a level up. So I do some gambling here. It's a risky time to do it because I can't gamble for very much, but I'm absolutely desperate for some multiple skills. So fire resist 34, which is pretty good. Indestructible, which I think is really cool, the idea of making a golem that's indestructible. But an amazing belt here, so dual resist and faster hit recovery. Some excited clicks there. Trash belt. A magic find, 21%, which is better than the gem one, so we're upgrading there. 31% better chance of magic items on a helm. That is a really good find. And +2 summoning skills and 17 resist all. Now, that is level 40, which is really annoying because I'm, what, 13 levels away from that? Whether that's going to be useful in the future, who knows. But some really good, for gambling, that's some of the best gambling I've ever done. Especially those 2 belts. And getting one of them rare and that good. I'm dodging like an absolute pro. And fighting where I can. I mean, here you can see where you've got the melee fighters. And even Frostenstein here. He's getting stun locked so much. My son is pretty much getting severely brain damaged in front of me, but he is winning. And finally we grab Anya's reward. And let's eat that dirty scroll for the resistances.
Salutations.
I'm sure she's horrified. And then we hope. Blood Golem and +2 Bone Spear. Just such a shame, but have I come to expect any more, so insultingly sell it straight back. Once again, riveting, door smashing behaviour. And finally, after many sprints later, I think about maybe clearing that area because it's nice to have a portal there, but ain't nobody got time for that. For normal, I don't normally drop potions, I normally just keep them in inventory, but there I think maybe let's just have a safety area. And we've got to do a lot of running away. I don't, for whatever reason, immediately think my Iron Golem is in any great trouble. But what I should have realised is if I do lose him, then I've got nothing other than the stuff I'm wearing to resummon him, so I should maybe have brought some items with me. is extraordinarily slow. I mean, that's a good like 10 minutes maybe just to call a count. And then we've got Madog. I used to call him Madawak. Be interesting to know what other people called him. Thankfully you can see looking pretty pensive there. Definitely re-evaluating after a current 20-minute fight. What am I doing? Even an existential stare into the frozen winter. What is real? What is real life? Why am I doing this? And let's look for him then. Metallic, always dangerous. Just that whirlwind. But actually with the Thorns, this could be pretty good. He's taking a lot of damage. Unfortunately, he's dishing out a lot of damage, and this is the closest. This is actually during this the first time I realised, oh, what happens if my golem dies? I'm going to have to go back to clay. So I'm just hoping and praying he lasts as long as he can. Probably should actually be using Decrepify here. Oh, I do switch to it, yeah. Just to try and slow down his attack sometimes, just to get maybe Golem's natural regeneration to give him a few more hits before he goes down. Fortunately, just towards the end, the inevitable demise. I have to max out my mana just to summon him once. After a very, unfortunately now, again, a very slow two-handed fight, we do it. So here I start using Flee quite a lot more. Because of how useful it is with some of these packs I just don't want to fight. And actually Thorns still coming in clutch against these, so great area to farm this first level, the second level, especially by the waypoint. It's useful to be able to get straight to the waypoint. You can come up against these melee guys, so I'm just pumping levels out here as best I can. And there we did it. Fire Golem, next to the fireplace. I feel a bit sorry for the Iron Golem here, but needs must. Fire Golem, clearly the game changer that I've been looking for. So within the fires, I summon him. My eldest, wisest, strongest, aura-inspired son, who's pretty much immune to magic. Let's try him out. Okay, bit of bad luck, but Holy Fire seems to be doing absolutely nothing. Okay, well that's against one. I mean, it's okay. We'll see. Reserve judgment at this point. Okay, bash. I mean, it doesn't feel faster than the Iron Golem because they're not taking any Thorns damage. So the pain is real. Pointless ascent to level 30. So we make Law, which is always a great one, +1 to all skills, some energy and lightning resist. There's even damage reduction, so it's a great early rune word. Looking here for any Hail Mary. And then we find ourselves in the throne. There was a clip back there of me doing some kind of back and forth as I tried to find a decent wand, but I don't really know what I was looking for. I didn't have a huge amount of money to be able to get anything I wanted. Just window shopping. So methodically clearing the throne. Thankfully, with what spawned, it was possible. I'm up against Calenzo. Now I know this is going to be a challenge because he's not going to want to attack him. Actually, we're in some luck. And very, very comfortable. Wave 1 victory, which is very welcome. So wave 2, we've got the summoners. I'm trying here just to pull, maybe just kite some of these mages down. The Iron Golem doesn't seem to be taking any damage from, I think he's immune to poison naturally, but doesn't seem to be taking any real cold damage here. Some, of course, but not a huge amount. It's pretty consistent. We've just got to isolate his attacks, so I'm manoeuvring with the portals here, opening them up behind the opponents and finally clearing them out. Probably made that look harder than it actually was, but now we're on to Bartik. Now I know at this point the Iron Golem is basically sacrificial. Seems to be extremely weak to fire, and you can see at the wall if I just, I mean at that point I'm truly regretting him, and I would call after him, but he's pretty much gone full safe. Unfortunately, when you've got so many here as well, I know it's going to be over pretty quick. So it's time finally to put the level 30 skill out the hat. Now I'm hoping here with the Hydras that his skill functions like Fire Absorb, and that he's immune to damage because he's getting healed constantly by the Hydras. It doesn't 100% seem to be the case. He's not getting healed there even though he's getting shot at, so I think maybe it's an absorption but it doesn't gain anything to his health. It just means he's immune to fire. But eventually we get rid of them. We're on to wave 4. And it's always frustrating how like tethered these Venom Lords are to Ventar. So I do what anyone would do in my situation when I realise things are going to get this bad, is I run away in the hopes to try and get wave 5, and I actually managed to get most of them out of the throne. So summon an Iron Golem just using some random circlet I found, which of course isn't going to be great damage, but it's really the Thorns. And actually because they're so spread out now, I can kind of take my time. I'm using that Terror skill to make sure he's only fighting one at a time. It becomes very viable, even though they do their Inferno attack. And finally, the Minions of Destruction. I'm not looking forward to this at all. But they are melee, so hopefully with some luck, if we don't have to fight too many, they will kill themselves. I could see their health getting chipped down there, but against 2 with Decrepify, it seems possible. You can see the others just waiting around the corner there, which terrifies me. I even moved back closer to the portal. Finally, Lister gets defeated, punched about 9,000 times, but mainly impaling himself from the spikes on my back. And we're at Baal. Long, hard one. Part of me wants to throw myself off this bridge and say he's won. But I remain optimistic, but I think every time those tendrils are going to go up, he's going to get distracted. He definitely has some learning difficulties. The AI is very, very frustrating. And I'm having to come back to town very, very frequently to heal him back up. I do the old classic tactic of just chucking some trash on the ground with a big enough trash pile. Eventually we can do this. Now this took longer, can you believe, than Ravens in Hell. So it took about 45-50 minutes. And we get some chances, and a 38% is very, very good actually. That's a pretty good find. The rest of it, I'll identify the ring, but we know it's going to be Catherine and Seal. Yeah. So look, that's as much as any one man can endure. Clay Golem +3 on the wand, got that very early on. Lore helped me out with the +1 skills, and stealth of course. Preserved Head, this is the off one, this is the +1 to bone armor, the other one had +2 to Clay Golem, probably had those the wrong way around. Great magic find, decent energy because I needed it, and then just some random resist ones. A great belt which I gambled, Saigons which we got from Duriel I think, and then Chances we found towards the end. So there we go, look, no one in their right mind could ever expect that Nightmare is going to be possible on this. I know there are like better runes you can get and maybe some rune words, stuff like that, but realistically like Fire Golem was a real letdown. The only thing that got us through was the Iron Golem's Thorns, like absolute MVP, my favourite son, and I would admit that to everyone. Although Clay will always have a special place in my heart for being reliable. So that's Golemdad. Never to be seen again. Although never say never. So I'm going to show you now some hilarious AI art that I got for the thumbnail. This one I thought was just beautiful. And here they are with all of them. Not the Blood Golems, we don't love him very much. Really emotional hugs there. And the last one there, although that is the most ugly stone golem. But wholesome hugs. So thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.